If stories like this stay with you, you may want to hear what comes next. I still keep the receipt from that rental in a box under my bed. It reminds me why I don't go on solo trips anymore.
This happened in the winter of 2018, just outside Woodstock, New York. I needed a break from the city and rented a small cabin. The property sat at the end of a long, unpaved driveway. Trees crowded the house, their branches bare and skeletal against the gray sky. It was late afternoon when I finally parked my car. The silence of the woods felt heavy immediately. I unpacked my bags and checked the heating vents. The host, a South Asian man named Elias, had left a key under the mat.
Inside, the cabin smelled like pine needles and old dust.
It was charming in a rustic way, but very cold. I cranked the thermostat and made myself some tea. By 5 o'clock, the sun had completely set behind the mountain.
I settled onto the couch with a book.
The wind began to pick up, rattling the loose window frames.
Around 8, I heard the first noise that didn't fit.
It sounded like heavy boots crunching on the gravel outside.
I froze, my cup halfway to my mouth. The sound stopped just as abruptly as it began. I told myself it was just a deer or fallen ice. But the rhythm had been distinctly human and purposeful.
I walked to the front window and peered out.
The porch light illuminated nothing but swirling snow. I double-checked the deadbolt on the front door.
A strange anxiety began to tighten in my chest.
It felt safer not to see the dark woods pressing in. An hour later, I went upstairs to get ready for bed.
The bedroom faced the backyard, overlooking a detached garage. I glanced out the window before pulling the shade down.
A motion sensor light on the garage flickered on.
My heart hammered against my ribs.
The yard was empty, covered in a fresh layer of white.
I watched for a full minute, holding my breath.
Then, the light turned off, plunging the yard back into darkness. I tried to rationalize it as a glitch or the wind. I lay in bed, staring at the textured ceiling.
Sleep felt impossible with every creak the house made.
Sometime after midnight, I heard the sound again. This time, it wasn't on the gravel.
It was the sound of weight shifting on the front porch steps. The wood groaned under a heavy pressure.
I sat up, grabbing my phone from the nightstand.
There was no cell service, just no signal in the corner.
I had forgotten that detail when I booked the place. I crept out of bed and moved to the landing. From the top of the stairs, I could see the front door.
The frosted glass panel glowed faintly from the porch light. Then, a shadow moved across the glass. It wasn't a swaying branch or a passing animal.
The shape blocked out the light completely for several seconds.
Someone was standing directly against the door. They didn't knock or try the handle.
They just stood there, motionless and silent. I stood paralyzed at the top of the stairs. I was terrified that the floorboards would squeak under my feet. Minutes stretched into an agonizing eternity. Finally, the shadow shifted and moved away from the glass. I heard the crunch of boots on snow, fading slowly.
I didn't sleep for the rest of the night.
I sat in the hallway with a kitchen knife.
Morning light finally broke through the gray clouds.
I packed my bags in a frantic rush. When I opened the front door, I looked down.
There were boot prints in the snow on the porch.
They faced the door, inches from the threshold.
But there were no tracks leading up the driveway. The prints seemed to come from the side of the house.
I followed the trail with my eyes.
They led to a small crawlspace door under the porch.
The crawlspace door was slightly ajar. I didn't stay to investigate what was inside. I got in my car and drove until I hit the highway. Elias never replied when I messaged him about it.
I check underneath my own porch every single night now.